Let's talk about some fundamentals of ultrasonic instrumentation. There's really three fundamentals we need to talk about, and those are the 3A's of ultrasonic instrumentation. First, we're going to talk about adaptation. Second will be angulation, and third will be activation. So as you can see on this ultrasonic insert, the terminal end has some red nail polish on it, and that is to give you a visual of what 2 to 3 millimeters looks like. 2 to 3 millimeters is very important because that is what has to stay with the tooth at all times. So let's take a look at what that means. If we're here like this on this tooth, we want to eyeball that 2 millimeters is against the tooth. We don't want 1 millimeter against the tooth. And we don't want 4 millimeters or 5, because look what happens to the terminal end. We've lost adaptation. We like to refer to it as the sweet spot. And when you're in that 2 to 3 millimeters, that's where you want to be to begin your actual stroke. So 2 to 3 millimeters of adaptation is very important. And that doesn't matter where you're going, you've always got to keep that clinging to the tooth. Whether you're here, you don't want to lose that 2 millimeters. Again, too much adaptation causes that terminal end to come off. So about 2 millimeters looks like so. And if you look closely, that's about the angulation of a periodontal probe. And as you can see, 2 millimeters approximately is adapted of the probe at all times too. You don't want to have too much like so. Or like this, where the point is going to come into the sulcus wall. So 2 millimeters of adaptation equates to about 15 degrees of angulation. So those are the first 2 A's. Adaptation of 2 to 3 millimeters and about a 15-degree angulation. The third is the activation. So once you step on the pedal and initiate the ultrasonic, you eyeball your adaptation and your angulation. You're going to float, clinging the 2 millimeters to the tooth, and start a stroke about this big. Notice it's about a 2 millimeter overlapping stroke, like so. And move down a little bit, like so. If we were to encounter some calculus, let's say this little spot here was calculus, you would come from the top down and tap at that calculus in different directions, because what you're doing is microfracturing it, and then you would go back to your sweeping stroke. And the sweeping is also assessing to make sure that you've removed it, because when you go subgingival, you're not going to be able to have a visual. So you need to rely on your assessment. Adaptation, angulation, and activation. Those are the 3 A's of ultrasonic instrumentation.